Stop complaining and thank God. Stop complaining and thank God. As he was touching my heart with this one, I just think about all the people that I come in contact with, and think about all the people you come in contact with. And maybe that person is you yourself, that you're full of complaints. You're full of complaints. You're always griping about something. You're always upset about something. We know people that complain all the time and don't realize that they're in good situations. How many times have you all witnessed people complaining and you look and say, you just don't know how good you have it? We see them complaining about their living conditions. But you have to ask them, have you ever witnessed the living conditions of a third world country? Until you've seen something like that, how they live, then you may want to digress. We see people complaining about the food they have to eat, but they miss the hidden liner in there. They have food to eat, but they complain about it. Well, I don't want this. I don't like this. This is not what I choose to eat. We see people complaining about the clothing that they wear, but they're clothed. We have to look at our lives and really evaluate it. God is saying we're getting to a point we complain because we are a small nation here in the United States. We are extremely spoiled. And because we're spoiled, we find reason to complain. We will discover or create a reason to complain even in the best of situations. God will bless you. He will take you to a new level in life, and you'll complain about that. I've known people to receive promotions, and they've complained about the work that comes with the promotion. I thank God for this promotion, but this is too much work. They're not paying me enough to do this job. Then quit. Then quit. Stop complaining and leave. And see how much you complain then. I can't pay my bills. Yeah, but you were on the job complaining. God blessed you, but that wasn't good enough. Complaining. As we look at this topic, stop complaining and thank God. Oftentimes people look at things as, use relationships for example. They'll look at the relationship they had and don't realize that it'll ruin the one they have. Y'all follow me for just a moment. Sometimes when we're looking back on life, we tend to do the comparison contrast. We pray to God first and foremost, Lord, would you please bless me with a new relationship? And I'm not just talking about your male-female relationship. I'm talking about employment relationships. I'm talking about living arrangements as far as the neighborhoods, the cities that you're in. And we look at these things, we may leave one home. I'll never forget we left our home and bought the new one that we're in. And for a while, I found myself thankful because we were in a brand new home, not a pre-owned home. And as we were in this new home, I looked around and it was larger. It was, in all intended purposes, it was better. And I started complaining. I said, well, I like my old home because it had an office. I like it because it had an office, and it was separate from all the rest of the house. And I said, and I used to love my old home because I would look and say I can go out of the office to the balcony that overlooked the in-ground pool. And I would say, my goodness, I sure missed that. And God just reminded me that pool cost additional money. God reminded me that balcony was going to fall one day. Come on, somebody. You see, I forgot about all those things. I was just thinking about the good part. He reminded me that office had a squirrel living right up under it. Somehow he ate his way inside. He reminded me of that. Come on, somebody. He reminded me of these things. He reminded me that house was too small for my large family. He reminded me of how he was able to bless me with the new home while keeping the old home at the same time. And he reminded me of how we sold the home that we used to live in for $20,000 more than we purchased it for. He reminded me of how he gave us a new home and a surplus of money. He reminded me of this when I started complaining. He reminded me that he gave me an extra bedroom in the new home that we're in. He reminded me that no longer did I have to worry about any space because he gave me double the space we had, even in the yard. He reminded me of these things. How often do we listen to God's reminders? We know people now, they will look at old relationships and say, well, you don't understand, my first husband was X, Y, and Z. Well, you say your first husband, meaning that he's your former husband, meaning he's not your current husband, meaning that if he was that good in the first place, you'd still be with him. Come on, somebody. Unless God called him home, that's different. But if you decided, okay, we're going to part ways, you compare your own relationship, but if it was that good, you'd still be in it. Y'all follow me for just a moment. We look at relationships and we look at things and we start complaining about what we don't have instead of looking at what we do have. Instead of thanking God for the things that we have in our life, whatever it may be. Philippians 4:11 says, I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I've learned to be content. Whatever the circumstances, we need to learn contentment and stop complaining. It's not saying that you're not concerned about becoming better and doing something greater, but you're simply saying, Lord, if, and here's the key, you're within God's will and you know you're doing the right thing, there's no need to complain. There's no need to complain. God is doing something with your life. He